This is the first of a series of videos we're intending to produce, primarily for newcomers to the heavy horse world, to show the basics of harnessing, etc. When I started 40 odd years ago, there were a lot of the old boys still about, so you could glean information from them. As a friend of mine pointed out a few weeks ago, we are the old boys now, so I think it's time that we conveyed a little bit of that knowledge via this modern technology to the newcomers. But first of all, I'll introduce you to the horse. The horse is it's a 3-year-old Shire. His name is Basil, and we're just in the process of breaking or training this horse. The first harness I'm going to show you and put on the horse is what we refer to as cart harness, shaft harness. It goes on upside down to start with. The observant ones will see the horse's eyes are at the widest part of his head. You want to pass the collar over at the widest point, which happens to be at the bottom. Put down, put down. Get to put his head down, that helps. And then when you get there, that's the narrowest point. So turn that over, that's now in the right place. Very important that the collar fits in properly. You need to be able to get your fingers in there, and you need to get almost a fist in there. If you can't get your fingers in there, it'll pinch him. If you can't get your fist in there, it'll choke him. That's his windpipe. That collar pushes against his windpipe, stops breathing. The main weight itself is taken on these things here, which are hames. Hames, homes if you're in Shropshire, ohms, yams if you're in Yorkshire. The terminology varies depending on where you are in the country. So, hames, and that's where all the weight is taken. Collar itself is basically a pad to spread the weight about, made of straw, so there's a little bit of give in that. And then a short chain on the hame hook there, and the same on that one. And that's where all the pullings comes from. The fittings on the shafts, that one goes on the front hook, and the moves pulls the cart along. Saddle, cart saddle or a cart pad goes in the middle of his back, stuffed with straw, similar to the collar, and a short strap, from the collar to the saddle, called the meter strap, and that's to stop the collar from falling forward if he puts his head down. Same on the other side, and then 2 girths. The style of these saddles is very regional. Some have 2 girths, some have 1. Stuff it. And then in the channel on the saddle is what we call the back chain, which goes there, and another hook on the shaft. Take the back chain. That holds the shafts in the right position. Then we've got the breeching or the breeching. And the breeching is effectively a brake. The brake and the reverse gear. A lot of the vehicles didn't have brakes. So if you imagine when the horses come walking along, the horse stops, the car keeps rolling, got to be something to stop it, and that's what the breeching is for. And those chains will go onto another hook on the shaft, so that when he stops, breeching tightens, and he stops it here. That's about the right place. Run it too low, otherwise it impedes his walking. If you have it too high, it slips over. So that's about right. He wants to be in the widest part of his backside. And then a pair of reins, and the reins and the bridle together are effectively the steering wheel. So 1 rein on one side, 1 rein on this side. Do a ring on the saddle and a ring on the collar, terrets they're called. Not all saddles have these, particularly the farm saddles, usually without the rings. The benefits of them is it keeps the reins from getting caught underneath parts of the saddle. So you lose the contact with the mount, you've lost control of the horse. And then 2 bridles. It's what we refer to as an open bridle. That's a blinkered bridle, and most horses that pull anything will wear blinkers. I prefer open bridles. Some people did use them. Some of the driving people tell me I'm talking rubbish, you've got to use a closed or a blinkered bridle. Well, you haven't, and some didn't. Midland Railway Company in the working horse days, 3,000 horses, and they all wore open bridles. Just put the bit in his mouth, and then head down. Try and put his head down, put the bridle over his ears, and then there's a throat lash and a nose band. Keep everything in the right place. And then attach the reins to the bit rings, one on each side. And then pull on the right rein, he goes right. Pull on the left rein, he goes left. Pull on the both reins, he stops. And your voice. The voice is more important than the reins. If you can get a horse to work on your voice, it's far better than tugging and pulling on reins. Doesn't matter what you say for him to turn left or right. Again, very regional commands. I use come here and G back. You can use anything you want as long as he knows what you mean. You'll see them in Yorkshire, they say halve. Down in Suffolk, it's cup and wish. Doesn't matter what you say as long as he knows what you mean. And that's the basic harness for pulling a cart. Anything with shafts. So the shafts will go along there. Chain for pulling. Chain there to hold the shafts in the right position. And then a chain there to stop the cart from rolling into him when you stop. Also for reversing. If you want him to reverse the vehicle, just ask him to back up rather than to walk forward. Come on. There you go. And that's the basic cart harness or shaft harness. If there's anything you want to comment upon, please do. You know, I'm happy to ask questions. What you've seen is my experience of it. There's other ways of doing things. And you'll all have different people doing different ways, not necessarily right, wrong. That's the way I found it works for me. And as I say, we will hopefully, if anybody watches this, we'll do some more which will show the other things, put him in the vehicles, etc. Right, thank you very much indeed for watching.